Hi, my name is Emily, and this is the Delight Knits podcast, episode 9. Today is March 4th of 2022, and this is my podcast where I like to talk about all that I've been knitting on and everything knitting related in the past 2 weeks, because it's been about 2 weeks since I've podcasted last. I do want to remind you that everything that I talk about, project bags, projects, yarn, etc. is all going to be linked down below, including my Instagram, where you can find me at delight_knits, Ravelry at delightknits, one word, and my email is delightknits@gmail.com. So if you have any questions, make sure to check there first, and then you can always contact me from there or leave a comment, and I usually read those pretty quickly. So today I have a couple FOs, and there's one that you can see right now. I did finish my Salem sweater that I had half a sleeve and half a body last time. So I finished both sleeves, finished the body, and it does have a split hem. And look at this gorgeous cable detail and baubles. I love this. So this is blocked and finished. You can kind of see here where I laid it flat to block. I'm sure that'll relax with some wears and constant tugging. But I love the fit of this. You can see the raglan detail. It had a twisted stitch. You can see the slip stitch detail along the seam. I love this sweater, and I know I plan on making one in the future, maybe without the cable detail, maybe without just the baubles in general. But I love this. So I knit this in the first size available. I don't remember the bust size. So the smallest size, I knit it exactly to pattern, and the needle size suggested. This is my leftovers. I used a Suburban Stitcher mohair, the bronze Oopsie. And here is that label. And I just barely had to break into the third cake because I had it skeined up for the longest time, hoping I wouldn't have to. And I did break into it on the bottom ribbing in the back for like an inch. So I have pretty much a full cake of this left. But I will find a project to use it on and use it there. But it's gorgeous. So I have that. And then this is the yarn that I dyed. This is an 80/20 fingering, and I speckled it with a couple different browns. And so the combination of those is what gave me this. And I absolutely love it. And of course now it's starting to get warm, and I might not be able to wear it when I go back to work. But I will probably wear it to church on Sunday this week. Super happy about this. I love it. I still need to get some finished object pictures, but I may do that on Sunday when I actually do my hair. The other finished objects I've got is some more dishcloths. I know last podcast I had talked about my goal of doing a dishcloth a day while I'm on maternity leave. That didn't happen. I was too obsessed with getting this finished. But I did get 4 more done. I got 1 navy and 3 in the jalapeno Knit Picks Dishy color. So I did finish 4 in the last 2 weeks, so that's not bad. I'll probably get some more done here soon. That may actually end up being like a car project instead of socks, while when I do start going back to work, me and my husband usually drive together, and so that might be my project for that, because I have a bunch more colors that I showed off last week or last podcast that I plan on knitting up for friends and family for Christmas presents and the like. I also finished a soap cozy, I think is what it's called. I posted it on my Instagram. It's already been used, so I'm not going to show you because it's not pretty anymore. And there's a big bar of soap in it. But I will insert a picture probably about here. My husband had asked for like a washcloth or something. I was like, huh, let me knit this for you. I saw it on Needles in Life. I think her name is Callie. She has a free pattern on her blog. I'll make sure it's linked below. So those are all of my finished objects. I did forget to say that this is my entry for Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady and Lindsay of Sock Witchery's cowl that they have going on. It's the Crazy Cabled Sweater cowl. Granted, this has just cables on either side, but I know it'll count because it was one of the suggested patterns. It's nothing crazy like what Kay knit where it's literally all over cabled sweater. I don't know if I will ever do that. Cables, these were fun, but it was a little bit of fun and a lot of stocking knit, and even with the sleeves. So I did knit the sleeves on a small circular needle, and this was the first sweater I did that, and I loved it. It made them fly compared to doing magic loop. So I'm definitely gonna keep doing that in the future. So I think that's all I have for talking about this. I'm sure more will pop up and I'll just keep talking about it throughout the episode. But who doesn't when they've just finished a sweater? So I've got a couple FOs. I am still working on my Honey I Shrunk the Stash shawl, which is in my By the Bag co. And it's my big bag here. It's a drawstring. I mean, it's huge, like boxed bottom. Huge. And I have made some progress on this. Let's see which side. So last time I podcasted, I was in the solid blue section. Let's see if I can get this stretched out. There's so many stitches on this needle, it's insane. I was in this solid blue section and I finished that up and started the striping in the brown. And now I've started the brown section. So I've actually got the brown and one other color. So this is all I have left of the brown. So I've done 1.5 repeats out of the 5 that I plan on doing in the solid brown section. And then I will go into striping it with the purple, the light purple I've got here. And then I don't know if I'm going to, I had in my notes planned to go into navy from there, which I used in the beginning, but I don't know if I want to finish with the navy or finish with the purple. So let me know what you think. I already did, let me put these back. I did already use the navy, so you can see all the color striping here. So I did already use the navy up here, but it wasn't that much. And so I think it might be nice to end on a darker color because it starts light, dark, alternating. And I might go ahead and go into the navy. We'll see, I've got plenty of navy left. So this is the Honey I Shrunk the Stash shawl by Knit Graffiti, I think Leslie Ann Robinson. This is the front and then this is the back. The only difference is how the spine is. So like this has the knit stitch and this has the purl stitch in the back. This is an all over brioche shawl. It's a stash busting shawl. And I think I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be a big symmetrical triangle. Let's see. And I mean, brioche stretches out, so this will stretch out. It's gonna be huge. I mean, the needles are already like, oh yeah, it'll be huge. I may not need to do the navy. But I am knitting this as part of the We Share Needles Shawllalaalong. And I believe that ends on March 12th. So that means I have 8 more days because today is the 4th. So and these rows are long. I'm hoping I can finish it to be able to enter it into that cal. If I don't, I mean, whatever. I was gonna knit this anyways. So I'm in love with it. And I love the all over brioche. Yeah, all of these leftovers are the same base. I'm kind of one of those, I don't know if you'd say weird, but particular, where I don't know if I would use different bases. Because this 75-25 base, they're all yarns that I've dyed as well and used in different projects. I'll talk about those in a minute. But this versus like the 80-20 that I used in this sweater, they have totally different like feels and softness. This is very soft. This one, not so much. This is more of a sturdier one for sock that I would use for socks. But I don't know if I would mix those. So I did mix all of the same base. Let's see, since these are all leftovers, I know the navy was used in my boxy sweater, which I need to pull out and wear a little bit more. The sand mauve, the delphinium blue, and brown are all in my slipping tiles shawl. And then the purple and the light purple that I showed earlier are both from my Winter Lights shawl. They had there's another purple and a gray, but they didn't really fit in because the medium purple, it's actually in here because I ran out of the dark purple. Let's see if you can see it. I mean, they were so close, I just tossed it in here with it. And you probably won't be able to pick it up on camera. But within this purple, no, not that purple, this purple right here, because I did smaller ones so you can see there. I did run out of the dark purple, and so I was going to the medium purple to just finish it off. Both of those, plus the light purple and a gray, were in my Winter Lights shawl. But I'm excited to be able to use all these leftovers, and I still have quite a bit left over from that, or from all of that too. I mean, let me see if I can get this to where you can see. Oh, that came out here. I mean, there's still a lot of leftovers in there, so I'll probably just use the rest for socks, because I'm not gonna use all that. And I don't know if my boxy sweater I don't wear as much because it is out of this yarn, and it's not my favorite for sweaters. So I think I'll just be using it for scrappy socks after this shawl. But I love it. I'm ready for it to be done, and wish me luck on finishing it within the next 8 days. So that's the Shawllalong is hosted by We Share Needles, Tristin and Maddie, who are also from Arkansas. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I am in Southwest Arkansas. And so I love to be able to support other Arkansas makers. I've got one other whip. So I don't have as many whips going on, and I usually have a sock whip, but I haven't had a sock whip on since I finished those socks for my sister last week. So I went ahead and started another one, although this is a little different than usual. So this is a sock for my toddler, out of the leftovers from my self-striping yarn where I already finished a pair of socks. I think it's the Shell Seekers by Mustache Yarns. And it's kind of centered, there we go. And so I figured I would try knitting my daughter a pair of socks. And so these are my leftovers, and I am actually trying out the Magic Heel sock. So I'm in the middle of the heel. I took one of her little socks that she wears every day and measured it. And so that's why, I did about 30 rows. So I did the toe and then 30 rows, which is what these red markers are for. And that's about where her heel's at in her socks, her store-bought socks. And then I started the heel, and I think I'm gonna do about 30 rows as well. So I'm hoping with these magic heel socks, she will be able to wear them for longer than a couple of months. I did knit her a pair of socks about last year for her crazy sock day at school. And I did a fish lips kiss heel on those, and they fit great, but they are obviously not gonna fit anymore. She's grown so fast. So hopefully with this pair of socks and the magic heel, that she'll be able to wear them for a little bit longer. So I cast these on with a 2mm, a US size 0, and I started out in magic loop till I got until middle of the blue and tried to see if my 9-inch circulars would fit. And I'm super happy to say they did for this 56 stitch sock. And I did try it on her and it should fit pretty well circumference wise. I haven't tried it on her since I've started the heel. But where was I going? Oh, so the needle is the 2mm. And they do fit here. The stitch marker is Sassafras Knits, which I also had one on my Honey I Shrunk Stash shawl. I was also using the Sassafras Knits. She's the only cute stitch markers that I've got. And then I've also got a Progress Keeper from Kay's Crochet Creations, and that's what the other one on my shawl was as well. So I did this sock that's already in the heel, and then I've got this one started that I'm 2 rows into the heel. So got them going 2 at a time concurrently. I did try to start them out 2 at a time on one magic loop needle to start the toes, and hated it and went ahead and split it. Was not a fan of it. Figured I'd try it out again. I've knit one pair in the past 2 at a time, but magic loop's just not for me. I love the 9-inch circulars. So here's that. They're my leftovers. I'm hoping to use up all of my leftovers, but that might be a big sock for her. It looks like it goes through, let's see, which one is this attached to? There. It looks like it goes through the repeat. I might be able to, because it starts with, so the blue, and then there will go into the green again, and then the blue. So I think I'm just gonna knit these until my yarn is out. Ooh, almost lost my bag. Until my yarn is gone. And so she'll just have some long socks, and hopefully she'll be able to wear them next year as well, with them being magic heel socks. So, and they're a somewhat neutral color, so if they don't fit her next year because her foot's too fat, then my son will be able to wear it eventually. And if not, there are 3 other cousins on my husband's side of kids, and then there's 1 on my side. So somebody will be able to wear it. But that's all that I'm currently working on right now. As soon as I'm done with my Honey I Shrunk the Stash shawl, I do plan on starting the newspaper pullover by Hoagie Locatelli. This is printed out in black and white, and it's not the cover sheet as I wrote on it. Trying to conserve ink there, but it's another all over brioche project. I'm loving brioche right now. So that's what I'm going to cast on next with this yarn. So this is Sangria and this is Mirror, both on the Ruby and Roses yarn. This one's a soft rose base and this one's fragrant rose base. I got these right before she was moving, and they're about the same ply. One of them just has cashmere in it. And so I'm super excited to get this one started, to have another sweater on my needles. And then I also we'll cast on some socks again, probably with those leftovers. I'm really in a stash busting mood that I don't want to, I say this and then you're gonna see what I bought and laugh at me. But I don't want to buy much yarn. I want to work through my stash. If you watched one of my Vlogmas videos where I went through all of my yarn stash, I showed off where I keep it all, which is a little hutch, I guess you would call it, that was my great grandmother's, and that is bursting at the seams, and that does not include my undyed yarn that I have waiting for me to get the urge to dye yarn again. But it's kind of bursting at the seams, and so I'm wanting to work through that. So I might not have many acquisitions here in the future, or the near future at least. We'll see. I do want to buy an Advent this year, and some people are putting their Advents up for sale in April, so we'll see. I would love to get one from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. or I think Suburban Stitchers, the other one I want to try. So we'll see if I can get either or just one of those. I can't imagine getting two. It's too much. So I did buy a couple things in the past 2 weeks. I have been wanting for the longest time to try some Surrey alpaca yarn, and I don't have a project in mind for it except for maybe a sweater, maybe another one of these. And buying, hand-dyed yarn is expensive. Those mohair skeins were on a discount at $28 from Suburban Stitcher. And I am not saying those are way too expensive. They are worth every penny with how much work goes into hand dyeing yarn. But it's hard for me I want to set yarn budget each year. My husband has a hunting budget. I have a yarn budget. Those are just our hobbies that we each have. And so we try to limit our spending for it, but also allow us to have spending money for it and not feel guilty for it. We're both accountants and money minded, so budgeting is what we do and have fun with it. So it was hard for me to spend $100 on a sweater's quantity of Surrey when I know I'm gonna have to spend another $100 to get it a fingering to hold with it. And so I was looking at some bare yarn sites because I do dye yarn as a hobby, and the bare yarn is quite a bit cheaper. So I've just been looking for months at different dyers that have Surrey yarn that may put it on sale. Like I know Yarn Cafe Creations had her Surrey base on sale in her clearance section, but just none of the colors screamed for me, and I didn't have a project picked out. So I ended up purchasing some undyed Surrey that I finally found from Wool to Dye For. And so I got, I had said I was going to do a sweater with it, and so I needed at least 3 skeins of it, and Wool to Dye For sells theirs in 10 packs, so I got 10 skeins of Surrey. I was thinking if I didn't like it, I can always sell the other ones, post it on my Instagram, and sell the bare yarn to other people. So I have 10 skeins of this Surrey base, and I love how it feels. I'm super happy about it. I'm excited to try dyeing it, but I don't have a project in mind yet. And I've got 2 sweater quantities of yarn, the one I just showed you and another that already have plans that I'm excited to start knitting. So this will probably just sit in the back burner and I can go and touch it and whenever I feel like it. And if a project pops up that could use this, I will jump on it and dye this up and start using it. But so I bought 10 skeins of this, and then because shipping, if you buy more it helps, I bought 10 more skeins of the 80/20 base that I used in the sweater. So I've got 10 of these as well. that I can use for socks or sweaters or whatever. So I got 20 more skeins of berry yarn in my stash. My drawer of berry yarn is growing a whole bunch, and I haven't dyed in a while. Dyed yarn. I go back to work on the 21st, so I've got about 2 weeks left. So I may take one of those a day and one of those 2 weeks and dye some yarn, but I don't have any projects in mind, and that's what's stopping me from doing it. Is I like to buy yarn and dye yarn. My son's starting to wake up, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But I like to buy yarn and dye yarn with a purpose in mind. So we'll see if that happens, but that is all I have to show y'all. I just really am happy to be able to show you off my Salem sweater. It's gorgeous, and I'm super excited to get to wear it. So I hope everybody has a great morning, day, or evening whenever you're watching this, and enjoy spending your time knitting. Thanks for watching. Bye.